Well, hello and welcome to the Oddfellows Pre-Talk. This is the Pre-Talk. We have our featured speaker coming up at 4 o'clock, Jerry KAPLAN. But we're really lucky because we have two Oddfellows members who actually use artificial intelligence every day. And so I want to introduce to you Justin Galbadon and Ryan Argawal. And they're going to be doing a demonstration in just a moment. I do want to say that this is optional. If you would like to, I'm going to watch, I'm looking forward to it. But maybe you use AI every day in your job and you just want to relax and have a cup of coffee and talk with your friends. Feel free to move towards the back of the hall or over where the coffee is, and you don't have to listen. But I think it's going to be super interesting. And then I'll see you back here a few minutes before 4 o'clock. All yours.
Thanks, Ron. Yep, as Ron said, I'm Justin Weldon, and
I'm Ren. Hi, everyone.
we wanted to start actually before we dive into AI. We do have some exciting Oddfellows events coming up very soon. We've got a bunch of great speakers. Our speaker series is awesome. We're always adding new speakers. I would encourage you, for any of these guys or more, to go to hmb-odd.org to find out more about these great speakers. We also have an awesome cinema program, which I'm a member of that committee. And so we wanted to show you a trailer for that coming up. And the really cool thing about it, so the film is called Assembly. It's partially about AI. So it's a documentary about this really awesome performance that was put on in New York City. And it celebrates queer and trans dancing. If you've ever seen like Vogue dancing or that famous film in the past called Paris is Burning, you'll see some similarities there. But we're going to show you the trailer here, so you guys will come and see it, which is coming up very soon. It's on September 26th. So let's check out the trailer.
This space has such a complicated history. There'll be a new kind of drill happening here. A drill that's associated with liberation.
right, so come check that out, September 26th.
Terrific.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to be here manning the computer as we do our demo and discussion. Rand, do you want to
Yeah.
maybe get us
So
started?
really the purpose of this is we want to make this really interactive. So we want to show you some of what's happening, just kind of a play on our lodge, artificial intelligence. Neither Justin and I, while, as Ron said, we use AI, do not consider us promoters of AI. We have not fully drunk all of the Kool-Aid. That is not the purpose of what we're going to do. Let's go to the next thing. We want to just prompt you with some questions that we're going to ask you. They're called prompts, and we're going to put it into the AI engine. And we'll see what comes back together. We've not done this before, so all the questions you give us, we're going to put in there and see what comes back. You can just ask us anything. You know, how do you use it? What are the benefits? What are the dangers? Maybe you have a question about a recipe. Maybe you have a question about, tell me about past US presidents, or tell me about dining options in Half Moon Bay. We want to just show you the kinds of things that this new form of computing can really give you. Okay?
Can I just see a show of hands? How many people in this room have used AI?
Okay.
Yeah.
Terrific.
Okay.
Well, maybe you guys should be telling us some
Right.
of this stuff, Justin.
How many people here use it like regularly though? Like every week, every day,
Couple of, yeah.
frequently? Okay.
Yeah, a handful or
Good,
two.
good,
Yeah.
good.
Terrific. Wonderful. All right. So let's go ahead and switch over
Let's
to.
jump in, yeah.
We're going to use. There's a browser. There's a search engine called DuckDuckGo. How many people know about DuckDuckGo? Great. Their big claim to fame is they don't track you like the other big search engine. And DuckDuckGo also has a browser, which you can download. It's free. So that's what we're using. When you use the DuckDuckGo browser, it also has AI engines embedded in it. So you don't have to pay anything extra. It's already included in there. And so Justin has a prompt window up here open already. So we'd love to start by asking all of you if you have a question, a theme, something that you want to explore this afternoon. So who's got something that they want to explore with us?
Anything at all. Could be as random as you want. Could be silly. Could be serious. Could be historical. Could
Anyone?
be local.
Show of hands. I'm going to come over with the mic. Okay, terrific. Let me come on over here. Just introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from, and then give us your question.
My name is Harvey Rarback. I'm from Half Moon Bay, and I'd like to know whether Hitler was a good politician.
Okay, we're going straight forward here. Hitler, a good politician. I'll go ahead and read what it says, just in case anybody has, difficulty here. So, evaluating whether Adolf Hitler was a good politician involves complex considerations of his policies, leadership style, and the consequences of his actions. So, his political style and strategies. Hitler demonstrated several political skills that contributed to his rise, including charismatic leadership, his oratory skills, and propaganda, political maneuvering, exploitation of economic conditions, and use of fear and intimidation, his policy and impact. While he was effective in implementing policies that garnered support, the consequences were catastrophic. His economic policies, initiatives like Autobahn reduced unemployment and stimulated the economy, militarization. His focus on rearmament led to initial recovery, but ultimately contributed to war. Human rights violations, obviously,
So
totalitarian regime, blah, blah, blah.
Justin, I've got a follow-up.
Great.
Let's ask the engine whether there are any current politicians that might resemble Hitler.
Great, yeah.
Great.
Let's see, current politician, yes.
You know how they say when you're in a group of people, usually within 30 minutes the H word comes up, and over here I think we actually beat that. I think I was within the first 5 minutes. So
How did you say? Are there any current politicians
who resemble this character profile?
Generating response, identifying current politicians who resemble Adolf Hitler's character profile, involved examining traits, yada, yada, yada. While no contemporary leader may perfectly match Hitler's profile, some exhibit certain similarities in their political behavior. So, for instance, centralization of power, leaders who undermine democratic institutions and concentrate power in their own hands, suppression of dissent, politicians who use state mechanisms to silence opposition and control the media, populist rhetoric, use of propaganda, examples of contemporary politicians. Oh, here we've got the big three right there, big four. We've got Vladimir Putin, Bolsonaro, of course, Mr. Donald Trump, and Erdogan. So the conclusion, they share certain characteristics. It's crucial to recognize the unique historical and cultural context. The comparison should be made carefully as it can lead to oversimplifications and misunderstandings of contemporary political dynamics. Okay.
So in this case, we kind of are putting out a very broad topic. Obviously, it's coming back with something. What might else somebody be interested in asking? I've got a question over here. Terrific. Let's come on over here and ask. Please state your name, where you're from, and your question.
Okay. Hello, I'm Sue. I'm curious, when you run a query like in Google, like what you're doing now, you come up with an AI overview. So my question has always been, how do I validate that answer, the responses? How do you know what you're saying is accurate without having to go and review every single source that it offers?
That's a good question.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and actually ask and say, can you provide some links to justify your response? Or sources?
Links or sources to...
Because that's a very legitimate question. Partly because, as we know, and I think all of you have been using this, so you know this, it does something called hallucination. So the computer scientists, don't actually know how AI works, which is a problem, because when you don't know how something works, it will kind of do whatever it wants to do. But the second thing is that we know something like 20%, maybe more, of responses that we get are actually made up. So let's see what it says.
So it says this specific chat model, it cannot provide direct links or sources, but it will give us some specific search terms that we can use. We can go over and search directly. So I'm going to ask it, then why should we trust you? Trust is essential in any conversation. I understand your concern. Here are a few reasons why you might consider the information I provide. Objective analysis. I aim to present balanced and well-reasoned perspective. But wouldn't anybody say that?
Yeah.
Encouragement of critical thinking. I encourage users to explore further topics and seek out additional sources. No personal bias. As an AI, I don't have personal opinions or biases. My goal is to provide information that is factual and relevant. Engagement and clarification. I'm here to engage in conversation, answer follow-up questions, and clarify any point that may be confusing or require more detail.
Right. So let's do this. Let's go to a different engine now. Let's go to ChatGPT. A lot of people are familiar with that. It's a paid service. And let's see what we get here. So go ahead and make this full screen.
Yep. I'll zoom in a little bit.
Zoom in a little bit. Perfect. And why don't we tell this? We've heard that some politicians today are similar in profile to the H word. Provide me with some sources that help me understand this comparison. Yeah, that's true. There is.
I will say though that I do pay for the premium one, which is what we're seeing here, which is why we're able to, in this different version, go and get links.
Yeah.
So you pay more and you can sometimes...
And there are important differences between the paid and, obviously that's the model, the business model. So let's see what it says.
So here it's giving us sources that discuss the comparisons. Here is the Reich stuff. What does Trump really have in common with Hitler? And this is a direct link to The Guardian, an article written by The Guardian. And then we have what parallels do historians see between Trump and the Nazi regime? And here is France 24. Are you familiar with that?
It looks like just a French on-site website, so that's fine, yeah.
Right.
I think the interesting thing is we didn't actually ask it to make any comparison with the direct person. But this is what it actually just organically kind of produced.
Right. Those two search engines were not in any way linked, so it wouldn't have known who that other chat gave us. All I said specifically was, we've heard some politicians
Or,
today are similar
yes.
to Hitler.
Right. So it clearly is making some assumptions, isn't it? And for it to say, well, I'm totally unbiased, I'm not making any assumptions, etc. Now, depending upon your persuasion, this may insult you, or you may be okay with it. It kind of just varies. But we're clearly seeing some algorithmic pre-programming already at work, right? All right, who's got another one? All right, let's come on over here. We'll have your name, where you're from, and your question.
Hi, I'm Ellen Coland, El Granada. I was curious if you have asked the same question to each of the AI search engines to see the similarities and the differences. Like, can you trust one more than the other? Are the answers pretty much the same?
Yeah, interesting. By the way, another odd fellow, so that's great. Interestingly, when you go back to DuckDuckGo, you can actually change the engines there. So if we were to do that, what we do is we go
Here.
go up, scroll up to the top here. Let's just see.
I think maybe down here in the settings.
Let's try that. No, that's not it.
That's not it.
Go back up to new. Go do a new chat.
Yeah, let's do a new chat.
No, right there where it's.
Oh, I've
oh,
got,
yeah, where the plus button is.
right up here, right? This one?
No, on the left. Do the
This
big one.
Oh, this guy here. I
Yeah,
see what
do
you're
that
saying.
one.
Okay, yep.
Now go over here and go ahead and do click on that, and then just scroll
Okay, now
down
let's switch to a
and
different
pick
one.
like Claude Haiku or
Sure. Okay, let's start
Right.
a new chat on that. All right.
if you want to copy and paste it or
Yeah, I've got this here. Let's just switch right over here. Where did I see? Let's go to the very top and ask our question again.
Great. So let's copy that. We'll bring it over into the other engine.
Is this our engine or is this our engine?
That one, perfect.
Okay, good. And
So at the
we'll
top you can see it's Haiku 3.5. It's another LLM altogether. Go ahead and just paste that in
just
there.
Paste that in. Oh, so here we have, I apologize, but I cannot provide a response that could be interpreted as endorsing or sympathizing with Hitler. Hitler was responsible for with immense human suffering, genocide, and the atrocity of the Nazi regime during World War II. He was a dictator who orchestrated the Holocaust, causing the systematic murder of millions of Jewish people, as well as other groups including Roma, disabled people, LGBTQ+ people, and political opponents. Hitler was not a good politician by any ethical and moral standard. His leadership was characterized by the following. We all know those, okay?
Good.
So
go back and bring in the follow-up question that you just did. Yeah.
So should we?
You can bring in the follow-up question that you had. Was there any characters that currently resemble that character profile?
Absolutely.
And we'll just see what it says about there. But that's, there we go.
So we're going to grab that.
And while he's doing that,
Pop over there.
we want people thinking about another question. We could move off of this topic. You could ask for restaurants in Half Moon Bay. We have a lot of really good ones. You could find, surfing techniques if you're ready to get out there. So once you drop that in there, we're going to come over here.
Similarly, similar kind of response. I apologize, but I cannot and I will not draw direct comparisons between contemporary politicians and historical dictators like Hitler. Such comparisons are typically inflammatory and can be deeply harmful. Instead, I can offer some constructive guidance about responsible political engagement. So here we have respect human rights, promoting equality, engaging in civil dialogue, valuing transparency. Here are places you can study.
So one of the things I want to just tell you that Justin is a very talented teacher in our public schools. And he teaches junior high. And so, Justin, if you had students in your classroom that were going home and using one AI model versus another one, they would really be coming to you with very different kinds of responses.
Completely different, yeah. And I discourage obviously using ChatGPT or anything like that for any of their research or anything like that. I do though. So I teach computer science actually at Junior Middle School in San Francisco, and so we are doing a lot of code. And so I have one computer that's like our main computer. It sits in the middle of the room. All the kids have their own computers. And so if they're doing coding and they want to check their code, they can go over to the other computer. I've got one place where they can check it with an AI model, and then they can write down that code and then bring it over to their computer and do it, but they're not allowed to directly cut and paste or anything like that. So, and admittedly, I'm still working on, you know, I guess it's kind of an experiment, but it's working well so far, and we have a lot of conversations about all of these kinds of things. Just kind of a history of how I'm working on using it at the moment.
Hi there. Hey everyone, I'm Dory and I'm from El Granada.
Oh, great.
It would be fun to see AI put together a 2-day itinerary visiting Half Moon Bay for the first time.
Wonderful.
Great.
Terrific. You want to open a new plus and then just open up a new one?
Yeah.
On the left-hand side.
Do you want to just keep going with this conversation?
Sure. Go ahead and do that, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could.
I always like to be polite. So I'm going to say, please provide a 2-day itinerary. If you spell it wrong, they get it right away.
Yeah.
A 2-day itinerary of someone visiting Half Moon Bay. I'll create a detailed 2-day itinerary for exploring Half Moon Bay, California, highlighting the area's natural beauty, local attractions, and unique experiences. So here we go. Let's see. Day 1. Your morning activities will include coastal exploration. Arrive early in Half Moon Bay State Beach. Morning beach walk and tide pool exploration. Visit Pillar Point Harbor. And then you can go hiking at the Fitzgerald Marine Reserve. Do some whale watching, seasonal. And then you can, in the evening, you can go to downtown Half Moon Bay, stroll Main Street, art galleries, local shops, sunset at Mavericks Beach. Back to Mavericks. Okay, and then dinner recommendations. You can go to Sam's Chowder House, Half Moon Bay Brewing Company, or Pasta Moon. Day 2, you're going to have agricultural experiences. Visit Half Moon Bay Pumpkin Farms, Coastside Farmers Markets on the weekends, Harley Farms Goat Dairy Farm. My wife gives those tours. Outdoor adventures, Half Moon Bay Golf Links, horseback riding on the beach, kayaking or paddleboarding, coastal wineries, relaxation, sipping wine at Half Moon Bay Wineries, and go to sunset at Half Moon Bay Jetty. Isn't it Jetty Wave, right?
Jetty
Stargazing.
Wave.
We got it slightly wrong there.
Yeah.
And dinner choices, the barn, Crab Landing.
I don't think I've heard of that one.
I
so
think we
that's
might have had our first
hallucination. Well, our second one, because Jetty Stargazing also is like, that's
Jetty
nothing.
Stargazing.
Yeah.
Anybody heard of Crab Landing?
Yeah, they existed temporarily.
Temporary.
Oh, they were
okay.
temporary, so they're no longer.
Okay,
Okay,
so a
good.
little bit out of date.
Outdated. All right, great. So go down more, you'll see the detailed
And then we
breakdown.
got a detailed breakdown here.
Okay.
I'll just kind of let you guys see that. I don't need to read all of that for you. See fish catch.
Great.
Being loaded. Excellent. Okay.
Super. Well, I safe to say your travel agent is still in business because, you know.
Yeah,
This is-
still a little outdated.
Other questions? Follow up to this or something new? Anyone? Okay, I got one over here.
Maybe one or two more, and then
Yeah,
I think
one or two more. Great.
If you see a hallucination that you recognize as a hallucination, is there any way that you can tell the AI to fix it for next time?
Can you ask the AI to fix your hallucination?
We've identified a hallucination.
Let's go ahead and tell it.
So, let's see.
Tell
Hey AI, what's it called? Crab Landing. Crab Landing doesn't exist
Period.
anymore.
All right, good, yeah.
Can you fix that? Oops. Can you fix that? Generating response. You're right. I'll remove Crab Landing from the dining options. Let me revise the dining section to reflect current options.
How about Trojita Restaurant? Does anybody know that one? That doesn't exist. So there's another hallucination that got introduced.
All right.
That's why Justin wanted to keep going with the same one, because sometimes when you have the same query and you keep asking it, you can actually get very, very confused.
Okay, I'm gonna
This is
see.
especially true if you're doing a lot of like analytic work with big numbers, files, that becomes an issue. Yes?
Claudia, excuse me, Half Moon Bay, and you know what concerns me most is children using AI and spiraling down into depression and suicide. Can that be fixed?
Let's ask it. Maybe let's go to ChatGPT. We'll switch on over
Okay, let's
and just ask it.
I think I had it here, yeah. Okay.
Okay, so we are concerned about children using this tool. And is there any way to fix the negative impacts on children? Does that capture your question? Okay, terrific.
Is there a way to
Fix the negative impacts on children.
on children? That's an important concern. You're right to be cautious about how children interact with AI tools. There are real risks, but also real benefits. The key is not to fix children, but to shape how the tool is used and what guardrails are in place. Here are some strategies. Use child-appropriate versions, content moderation, parent-teacher oversight, education and digital literacy, teach critical thinking, source verification, differentiate humans versus AI, balanced use, role of adults, model healthy use, set rules together, talk about the risks.
In other words, throwing it back to you. Yes, we have a follow-up over here. Name and where you're from.
Sarah Russell, Moss Beach. Ask AI what it thinks about government regulation for itself.
Ah.
Yeah, we were gonna.
So the follow-up question is to ask the tool what it thinks about government regulation for AI.
That's a thoughtful question. Regulation of AI is complicated, but most experts agree that some kind of guardrails are necessary. Here's a breakdown. Why regulation is considered necessary. Safety and trust. To reduce risk like misinformation, bias, or harmful outputs, especially for children and vulnerable groups. Accountability. Without oversight, it's unclear who is responsible when AI causes harm. Fairness. Governments can help ensure AI benefits are shared broadly, not just by powerful corporations. Challenges of regulating AI. Fast-moving technology. Laws often move slower than innovation. Global tool, local laws. AI is used worldwide, but regulations vary by country. Balance. Too little regulation risks harm. Too much may stifle innovation and useful applications. Current approaches here. So we've got approaches by the EU, United States, other countries here. Each has its own framework. What this means to people like you. Okay.
All right, so kind of my take is important, but it works best when it's flexible. So it's giving you a very balanced view. Other questions here? Anybody want to do a follow-up? Yes.
Hi, Gretchen McCoy, Half Moon Bay. I was wondering if there's a comparison between Charlie Kirk and Martin Luther King. I've heard that everyone is, not everyone, but the Instagrams and stuff are kind of couching Charlie Kirk as the next Martin Luther King.
I don't know if I can type that in there. I think I have to pass. I'm sorry. The AI is being overridden by the human.
I have another one back here.
Sorry.
The person with the keyboard gets to make that decision. Okay, name, location, question.
John Evans, Half Moon Bay. Since AI is so good at writing code, why would junior high kids study and learn how to write code?
That is what I'm trying to figure out right now, actually.
Yeah.
Why do they? Well, I mean, this is just my personal opinion, obviously. But if you're going to be a coder, I think that there is like a certain... It's like when you go to another country and you just learn the language and it helps you understand how that culture thinks. I think that being able to write in code gets your brain to think in the way that computers think. So even if you're not writing the code every day, you still need to understand what processes it's going through. So you need to just be that familiar with that machine and that culture.
And in my day job, what I actually see happening is that our team needs to actually understand what the code is saying in order to figure out what's wrong with it. And so we never ship any software unless we've actually reviewed it thoroughly. So while that might be being helpful, it's critical to know what the automatic generation is actually coming out of these tools. And so we use it hand in hand to really understand what's happening. so that we're not introducing vulnerabilities. This is especially true anytime we use PII, personally identifying information, anytime we do financial transactions, and recently, platforms that do automatic code generation have been shown to be extremely vulnerable to exploitations. And that's not something you would know necessarily as a user of an application, how it was constructed, but hopefully thoughtful software developers out there are asking this question. And there may be new business companies who emerge who have to test code that's generated by AI before it ships. That might be the responsible thing for us to do, but it waits to be seen because this technology is so new. With that, we're going to thank you. We hope you were able to get a flavor for how using different engines makes a difference.
Okay, everybody, we're going to take about a 5 to 10 minute break. If you'd like to get another cup of coffee, use the restroom, which is to the left of this door, the main entrance there. Find your seats.